Thea Stilton. MOUSEFORD Academy. The Royal Ball. The 11th Rule. It was a busy afternoon in the newspaper office at MOUSEFORD Academy. Student reporters were getting ready to put out the next issue. 5 of them, Pam, Colette, Nikki, Violet, and Paulina, called themselves the Thea sisters. They had named themselves after Thea Stilton, an award-winning journalist and a visiting professor at the academy. Thea was also the newspaper's advisor. She was off on another one of her adventures, but she had left behind a list for her students, the top 10 journalism rules. Unfortunately for the newspaper staff. The top 10 journalism rules. 1. Make sure your first sentence is exciting to draw in your reader. 2. News happens fast, but your writing shouldn't. Take your time. 3. Put the most important information at the top of your story, and the least important info at the bottom. 4. Support every fact in your article with evidence. 5. Include a source for each fact. 6. Stick to the facts unless you're writing a review or an opinion piece. 7. If you use a quote from another source, be sure to say where it's from. 8. Double-check the spelling of any names and places in your story. 9. Present all angles of an issue and let readers make up their own minds. 10. Don't do all your research behind a computer. Get out into the community and find out what people are talking about. They were about to learn the 11th rule, always bulk up your work on an external drive. Ron, a reporter for the paper, burst into the office. "I have bad news," he announced. "My computer crashed. I lost the article that's due today on the year's hottest cheese trends." "Now what do we do?" exclaimed Tanya, the newspaper's editor-in-chief. "We've got to go to print tonight." "Stay calm, everybody," Paulina suggested. "Ron, can I see your computer? Maybe I can recover the file." "I think it's hopeless," Ron replied with a sigh. "The computer is just a blank screen." "Can't you rewrite the article?" Colette asked. Ron shook his head. "All of my notes were on my computer." Before he could finish his sentence, a loud clatter came from outside. Clang! Bang! Bang! Clang! Bang! "Holy cheese!" Pam exclaimed. "What is that racket?" "Let's go find out," Nikki suggested, and the students all headed outside. A roaring arrival. Once they reached the courtyard, the sound was louder. But they couldn't see the source of the noise. "Where is it coming from?" yelled Shin, a mouse with short hair and glasses. Pam ran toward the entrance gate and pointed. "Everybody, look!" An old blue and white van was moving up the path to MOUSEFORD. It clanked and sputtered and looked like it was about to fall apart. "Do you think they're campers who got lost?" Colette asked. "Maybe," Pam said. "That van is in bad shape. Not great for camping, that's for sure." The van pulled up in front of the academy, sputtering and spewing smoke that puffed out of the exhaust pipe like clouds. 2 young rodents got out of the vehicle. The blonde rodent extended Histo, the nearest student, Ruby Flashy Fur. "Hi," he greeted her. "I'm Bradley, and this is my friend Irving." Irving, a rodent with red hair and glasses, smiled. Ruby grimaced when she saw the motor oil on Bradley's paw. "I'm not shaking that greasy paw," she exclaimed. Bradley wiped his paw on his pants. "Sorry, but our motor conked out on the road." Pam walked up to him. "You have nothing to be sorry for," she said, glaring at Ruby. "We're sorry for the rude welcome you just received." "I'm Pam." Everyone introduced themselves. Bradley and Irving explained that they were two students visiting MOUSEFORD. "We'll be spending a month here at the academy," Irving added. Just then Headmaster Octavius de Mussis approached the group of students. "Ahem, welcome, you two, he sputtered. He seemed strangely agitated. "You two, visiting students?" Colette suggested. "Exactly. That's it," the headmaster cried. Then he turned to the two new arrivals. "Come with me to my office. I need to speak with you," he said mysteriously. A prince in disguise. The professor had become tongue-tied when he welcomed Bradley and Irving. But it was because he couldn't tell the other students the truth. De Mussis, in fact, was the only one at the academy who knew that the two students weren't ordinary visiting students. "Prince Bradley," began the headmaster once the door to his office was closed. "I am delighted to welcome you to MOUSEFORD. And from this moment on, I will call you simply Bradley, as though you were a regular student." A large smile appeared on Bradley's snout. His dream was coming true. The royal family. As a prince, he had to live a very strict life and follow the rules of the royal family. Bradley had always imagined going on a vacation disguised as a normal student. So he had reached out to Headmaster de Mussis, who had agreed to his plan. Bradley could stay at MOUSEFORD Academy for 1 month. The headmaster would keep his secret. Bradley would study with students his own age and have some fun as a regular mouse. The beat-up fan was part of his disguise. Nobody would think he was a normal student if he had arrived in an expensive sports car. "Headmaster, I thank you so much for your hospitality," Bradley responded. "And let me introduce my cousin Irving, who has offered to accompany me on this adventure." "Nice to meet you, Irving," the headmaster replied. Then he gave them each a schedule of classes and pointed to the door. "Now get out of here," he said. The two rodents looked at him, confused. De Mussis smiled. "Get out of here and have a good time. MOUSEFORD Academy is waiting for you." "A great idea." Out in the courtyard, Pam kept ailing around Bradley and Irving's van. "Pam, you're staring at that engine like it's a pepperoni pizza," Violet teased. "You're itching to get your paws on it, aren't you? Do you think Bradley and Irving would mind?" Pam asked hopefully. She was a great mechanic. "Why would we mind?" Bradley asked as he and Irving approached the van. "Maybe you'll figure out why it makes all that noise." Bradley went up to the van and opened the hood. "Go ahead, Pam, but don't laugh when you look at the engine," he said. "I had to fix it myself on the road, but I didn't have any supplies or tools with me. So I had to use my suspenders." Pam laughed. "Seriously? Did it work?" She peered into the engine and saw that the alternator belt had been replaced with a strip of sturdy red leather. "Well, it got us here," Bradley said. "That's some quick thinking in an emergency," Pam said. "Although it's not something I would normally recommend." The newspaper staff was watching the scene. Ron's eyes lit up. "Hey, I think I've got an idea for a new article, and we can do it quickly," he said. "What about creative solutions to everyday problems? We can go around campus and ask for ideas, and take photos of students who have suggestions." Tanya nodded. "I think that could work." She turned to the staff. "We need everyone's help. Let's go get some great ideas." The students found plenty of ideas for the article. The first one came right from Colette. She had a favorite trick she used when her hair was dirty and she didn't have time to wash it. Be resourceful. When a problem arises, the solution might be right in your paws. Dry shampoo. A little cornstarch will remove excess oils from hair. Water workout: use 2 full bottles of water like weights. It's simple, she said. Just sprinkle a little bit of cornstarch into your roots, and then brush or comb it through your hair. It will soak up any extra oils. It works like magic. Really? Violet squeaked in surprise. That's a great tip. I'll be sure to use it the next time I'm tight on time. Craig, an athletic rodent, had a sports-related idea. Sometimes when I'm studying, I don't have time to go to the gym. So I take a break and use full water bottles instead of weights while I do a quick workout routine. A few hours later, they had finished the article and the paper was almost ready to go to print. You've all done a great job today, Tanya told the staff. It's missing just one thing, Paulina said. A catchy headline. Bradley came up with the winning solution. How about big ideas for small problems? Tanya smiled. That's perfect, Bradley. Let's go to print. 2 new friends. Bradley and Irving had spent the whole afternoon helping to write, photograph, and design the newspaper. In a few hours, they had stopped being the new arrivals and had become MOUSEFORD students in every way. They dove into student life with lots of energy and a great attitude. Nobody suspected that they were really members of a royal family. They got up early in the morning and jogged around campus with Nikki and Craig. They stayed up late at night, researching in the library with Paulina. Everyone thought Irving was sweet. And Bradley was very polite, with elegant manners. Even Professor Margaret Ratcliffe was impressed by Bradley's behavior, and the Thea sisters knew that she was not easy to impress. This young man really has the manners of a prince, she exclaimed one day in the hallway. Ruby Flashy Fur and her friends overheard the remark. Ruby sneered, right. He's the prince of broken-down vans. Ruby wanted nothing to do with Bradley. Pam, on the other hand, bonded with him very quickly. While they worked together to repair the van, Pam and Bradley discovered that they had a lot in common. They both came from big families, they both loved cars, and pizza was their favorite food. This new friendship bothered Pam's friend Shin. Hi, Pam. Look. Watch out. Oops. Shin had a little crush on Pam, and lately, she was so busy with Bradley that she almost never had time to hang out with Shin. He wanted to talk to Pam about it, but he couldn't find the words. So he came up with a plan. He pretended to be an expert skateboarder in the hope that he would get Pam's attention. The plan had one problem: Shin didn't know how to ride a skateboard. When he tried to impress Pam, he landed right on his tail. Embarrassed, he returned to his room. A minute later, he heard someone knocking on his door. Knock, knock, knock. Shin opened it and saw Pam standing there, smiling. Hey, Shin, she said eagerly. Go get your jacket, we're all going sailing, and you won't want to miss it. Shin hesitated. I've never been on a sailboat before, he said nervously. I wouldn't know what to do. Don't worry, I'll teach you some tricks. Pam replied. It'll be fun. Promise. Shin smiled back. If you say so. Should I bring any